Hi, everybody. I'm Maxine, and I am happy alcohol-free.
I am Isabelle, and I'm happy as fuck.
And we are back for episode 16. We have so much. We have so much to catch up on.
I haven't seen you in a million years.
We've both just had really full schedules the last couple of weeks and haven't seen each other. But today, a couple of things. We're going to catch up. We're going to talk about what I call the summer switch, like switching into summer season.
Yes.
Which makes me so happy. We live in a state where we have very, very defined seasons, 4 of them.
Which
One
are
of them,
stick season, mud season, green season, and winter.
Actually, I know there's actually somebody does this on Instagram where Vermont has 11 seasons because you go
Probably
in and
in
out.
one day.
Well, yeah, no, it's so true.
There's like 11 seasons in one fucking day.
Well, and I joke, while we may have the very defined seasons, one of them is 7 months long. And that is winter. So when it comes to the point where I'm like, it's summer and things are getting green, I'm so happy. So we're going to talk about all of the things that go along with switching over to summer, which often involves all
drinking.
The different alcohols. Yeah.
Yeah.
But speaking of alcohol, let's start, while we catch up, let's start with a liquid joy.
I'm so excited about this one.
So me too, because now, like, there's more of wines like this coming about that are super, they're elevated and they're sought after. Like this, you can't just buy this in the store.
Did you know about this one, or did I introduce you?
So I had read an article about it.
Okay.
Then I went to try and buy it.
Right.
Sold out. I couldn't get it.
They're marketing genius. They do that. So by the way.
Also, by the way, women
own, and they're actually a real, well, I shouldn't say real. They're a vineyard, and they do alcohol wines.
Yes.
They do. They do a low alcohol Syrah, which if I weren't so prone to drinking too much, I would probably drink. But if I have a 3%, then I'll drink a case of it in one night.
Yes.
But it's 3% for those that are trying to moderate. That's amazing.
Yes.
And then they have the alcohol-free
one.
And
let me just show it to.
Please.
This is
Oceano
Zero. I don't know why I'm saying it.
They're
with
from
a French
Washington
accent.
State, right? Washington State? Yes.
Yes.
They do a Pinot Noir.
Time for
from Washington
my
State.
spectacles.
A Shiraz that's low alcohol.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's read about it for a moment.
Yeah.
Born of vine, sea, and soil. Crafted. Spanish Springs Vineyard. This is from San Luis Obispo Coast.
That's north of California.
Wow.
Northern California.
Farmed by hand.
Yes.
Sustainably.
I messed up in English
I have not had enough coffee.
Yeah.
It is Sunday morning while we're recording this. Sustainably grown, aged in French oak, mineral seabed soil.
I know
Let's crack this baby
their
open.
Pinot Noir is so fucking good, and they're marketing genius because they make a limited amount of vintages and they run out.
Yep.
And then you're
so
like,
this is my first time tasting it, and it doesn't matter that we are recording at 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning.
Listen, I used to drink booze sometimes. Like if I were traveling, I was like, there's no time.
No, exactly.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
Doesn't exist. I'm in Rome at the airport. Well, it's 2 o'clock in New York. Like, crack. I would drink.
Let's taste this.
By the
Look
way,
at the gorgeous color on this.
It
smells like wine.
Wine. Like good wine.
10 calories a glass, because I just see that written on the label.
Yeah, and it's kind of low. It's low sugar. Let me see. I forget where it's low sugar.
Okay. This is amazing.
Oh, stop. Maybe we shouldn't talk about it because that'll fucking sold out again. I want to keep it for me.
I already bought a case.
I need to buy another case.
Oceano.
It's not cheap, but it's worth it. All right, I'm going for it.
It's amazing. I love it so much.
Fuck, it's good. I like it.
Okay. Wow, we're so self-indulgent right now. Like, what are we doing? Oh, we have a podcast.
And by the way, for summer, we need to start getting into rosé.
Yes. The whole rosé all
That
day
was my
thing.
excuse for starting early at the lake.
It's like it's just
right.
rosé.
So like when you'd go, like let's say it was a sunny day, you're like, I'm gonna spend all day at the lake swimming, and it's a lake that you don't have motors, just electric motors, so you don't have to fear. So and you're like, I'm gonna swim, I'm gonna paddleboard, I'm gonna do all the wonderful things, and then I'd sit on the dock and it's quiet with the wind. I'd be like, rosé is not alcohol. Ah, 10 o'clock, man. Open a fucking bottle of rosé. And the problem is by 4, all the plants you had are like gone to the wind because even though you're not technically drunk because you've been drinking all day, you're like,
The day drinking, it is different.
oh my
I have so
God.
many things firing in my brain right now because we haven't seen each other for a long time. But let's start with the fact that it is supposed to be summer today in Vermont, and you and I
Oh my
are
God.
both like
It's pissing
big
rain.
gardeners.
Yes.
It is pouring, pouring, pouring
Yep.
rain. But I woke up this morning to get everything, organized, and I have a very full week this week, and so I want to take tomorrow off. Just take a day.
Yes.
But so this morning I was like, okay, it's pouring rain, but I woke up at late because I went to bed late last night. For me, 11 o'clock.
Right.
It
Oh
was
God, that is
gosh, it
late.
was crazy, crazy, crazy
Right.
late. But I told you our daughter was
Sure.
performing
Yep.
by the time we got home and everything. And this morning I woke up and there's something about I call it Sunday morning magic.
Right.
The joy that now, almost 2 years for me,
Same.
the joy, Sunday morning were my hangover days.
Right.
I mean, of the days I was hungover in my life, Sundays were probably the most common
because you had
hangover
2
day.
drinking nights under
Because
your
you had
belt.
Friday and Saturday,
Yeah.
and Saturday night was either out for dinner or date night.
Right.
And so it was, I would like 6 o'clock on Saturday evening for me was always all bets are off.
Right.
And so
Oh, you're a late bloomer, 6 o'clock. For me,
Oh,
like that
gosh.
was already hitting like the dessert wine at 6 o'clock.
No. Like we would be cracking open a bottle of champagne at 6 o'clock or making a really delicious
Right.
martini at 6 o'clock on Saturday. But for me, like we've talked about how our
Right.
timing was always
Different.
different. Then I would be opening a nightcap bottle at 11 p.m.
Right.
Right. And so then we're up until 12, 1, 2 in the morning. So Sundays were just typically really, really rough for
Yep.
me. And so now when I look at my little wake up thing on a Sunday morning at 5:30, 6:30, whatever,
Right.
6:30 I slept till today was a miracle. I have, it's like a tingling joy
Yes.
of going, I will never, ever have one of those Sundays again where I feel sick.
Blurry and yeah.
Never, ever, ever, ever. And it's just, it's magic. And I know there's the pink cloud and the honeymoon phase of anything that has not dissipated
No,
for me.
and I don't know if that's still pink cloud. That could just be waking up feeling great. And by the way,
Even when it's pouring rain.
right, back on the lake thing, we were going to talk about summer. Last year was my first summer not drinking. And I remember being like, shit, am I going to do the whole beautiful sunny day at the lake
Yes.
and no rosé? And someone had given me a trick and it worked so great. So obviously NA wine for
Yeah.
me was like my go-to.
Savior,
And I
yeah,
started
yeah.
like drinking at 10 in the morning.
Yeah.
Same. But if you're tempted, especially in early sobriety, if you're tempted to reach out for booze, what you do is you think about how you're going to feel in an hour,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And you're
Play
like,
it
oh
forward.
man, I'm going to feel groggy, and that swim I was going to have, I'm not going to do it.
Yep.
And then I'm going to start eating a ton of chips and I'll feel bloated. Like you start playing it forward.
the
And then
movie.
by the time you're done playing that movie, you're like, oh no,
I don't want
you
it.
know what? I don't want it. So that's a little bit like, those gorgeous mornings.
Yes.
Every time I haven't had real temptations, but every time you look around and you're like, oh, everybody else is drinking. And you think of that morning,
Oh
you're like,
my
fuck
gosh.
it.
Can I tell you, I was at a party recently.
Right.
And it was so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
But a couple of people were really drunk by
Right.
the end. And all I could, again, have at it.
Go for it.
Go for it.
Go
I'm
for
so
it.
excited. You're
Yep.
clearly having a great time. But all I can think about is me not feeling that woman's hangover the next day.
Right.
No, that's how I play it forward.
Right.
Where I'm like, you're having a blast right now. And I remember the days where I'd be like, all right, let's go get another martini somewhere. And when I have those FOMO moments, that's what I play forward.
And
I play forward to she's having an amazing time right now and no inhibitions and blah, blah, blah. But tomorrow morning, I'm going to be so clear and happy and playing tennis early in the morning. And and I don't, and that helps me. It really is a useful
And
tool.
it's funny that you're mentioning the FOMO because I was at a party too recently. My sister turned 50 and
Oh,
it was
wow.
great. It was great. It was in
In
Montreal.
Canada.
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
it was a big party. And now almost 2 years sober. So I brought my own non-alcoholic wine, although she had made provision.
Okay.
But I actually ended up drinking my own stash hidden in a corner simply because I didn't want to get in line at the bar. So it was just
Yeah,
easier,
yeah.
right? But it's so funny how at 54, like you would think we would be over FOMO and fitting in.
No,
And it's
no.
so,
We're
and that's the
humans.
only thing that I remember thinking. So I never cared for fitting in. I like to dress different. I like to look different. I like to speak different. It actually, when I was a kid, I used to have nightmares that my hair would grow. I used to shave my head. My dad would remove all the locks in the bathrooms because he fucking wanted to kill me. I was punk, I was 13
Yes,
years old.
yes.
I'd shaved the side of my hair and I looked like I had a brain surgery, right? And my dad was like, not for it. So he would remove all the locks. So I would stop locking myself and shaving down my head.
Oh,
And I remember
you were
like,
such a rebel kid.
oh, and I remember I would have nightmares about my hair growing back to look like a preppy.
Oh, wow.
And that was a nightmare. So my point was I always wanted to not fit in. That was my trademark. But when it comes to booze, I second guess myself. I'm like, I have these FOMO of, even though I had a good time and I wasn't thinking about drinking, at the end of the night, like if I left early, did I leave early because I wasn't drinking? Did people notice I left early? Are they like, oh my God? And I'm like, why do I give a fuck? I don't give a fuck about anything else. What is it about the booze?
It's it is part of, I think it's the social framework that we have
It has to
been
be.
steeped in. I still have those moments too where I think, oh, do I not hear from that person
Because
as
I
much
don't
because I
drink?
don't drink? Am I missing out? I just think it's human nature. We have made a decision
Uh-huh.
in our lives
Right.
that is still at this point, although I don't think it will be
In 30
the
years,
future,
right.
we are still going against the social norm.
But how crazy that, like, how crazy, and I always pride myself to be someone that doesn't get influenced easily, but that's
Yeah.
bullshit because they got me
Yeah,
with that
yeah.
booze. Like, so you're right, it's the social
It's the social framework.
They really, like, how crazy that they took something and convinced us that if we don't do it, we're missing out or we're not fitting in. And even though I know that's bullshit, there's a subconscious part of me that at times questions it.
Yes.
I don't want to drink anymore. I really, really don't. So
No.
that's not going to change my decision. But that I still feel, is that why?
Is that why? I know.
And it's so weird.
I know. And I feel it too sometimes, but I do think I feel it less
Definitely less.
because I'm also constantly reminding myself of the very simple fact that what I have done for myself is so good for
Yes.
myself.
But I just find it amazing. That makes me realize how much brainwashing
Oh, so much.
has happened, that I would still sometimes think, is it because I don't drink that? I don't know. Like, for instance, the other day I was watching a Netflix something, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, yeah. Margot's got money problems, right?
Oh,
And so
yes.
it's cute. And so you see at some point, Margot and her mother go to Las Vegas and they get wasted, they party because
yeah.
the mother got married, right? And you see that big girl bonding and, getting wasted and having a good time. And there was a little pinch in my heart.
yes,
I was like, I could imagine myself with a bunch of girlfriends going along, staying out late, not drinking, and thinking, maybe I don't fit in all the way.
Yeah.
How fucked up is that? I would still think that.
Well, I think it's normal. Again,
Yeah,
not
but
only
it's
are we going
crazy that-
against the social norm,
Right.
we're going against what we have trained our own selves
To believe. Correct.
is what is fun, is what is normal,
Right.
is all of those things. And I'm trying to think where I was recently, where I thought that, where I was like, oh gosh. Oh, and I was watching I'm still watching Bridgerton, still
Right.
working my way through
You
Bridgerton.
sexy kitten.
Except I have to keep, if someone, where I watch TV in our house is like lots of open space
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know
around
exactly
it.
where
So
your guy
I'm
was. You
constantly in
can't
that big room.
hide.
So you can't
Can't
hide, but I
hide.
love the big TV in
Yeah.
there and I love the couch. So when I hear my son
You
coming
mute
in,
it?
I'm like, pause. I'm like, what do you
As
need?
they're like,
What do you
"Wee!"
need? And of course, when he looks at it and sees all the period costumes and all of that, he's probably rolling his eyes. But I'm
Right.
like, oh, if only you knew. But they were talking in a scene. Oh, it was a pre-wedding scene, and they were talking about getting really drunk. And then it was, okay, you're going to drink a bottle of that tonight. Just remember tomorrow morning, something raw eggs, shoot raw eggs. And I was like,
For the hangover. Oh my God.
it's like the preempting of the hangover. But I think going back to that, playing the movie forward in your mind
Right.
is one of the most reliable tools I have
Right.
to counteract those moments where I'm like, oh, pinch my heart a little
Right.
bit,
Right.
but then think about not worth the price.
In my case, when it pinches my heart, it doesn't make me want to drink. So I think my point is, for those that are starting the journey or thinking about it, is that although I don't want to drink anymore, like there's not an atom in me that
No,
wants to
me either.
drink. Zero. I feel too great.
And also, could we just cheers on that?
Oh my gosh.
Because that is the thing we got to keep
Right.
talking about.
That's
no
right.
part
So
of me wants to drink
there's
ever
not
again.
a part of me that wants
Yeah.
to drink, but it doesn't stop that I'm still a victim of the brainwashing. So
Yep.
that sometimes it pinches, not pinches that I want to reach for a drink. No, it just
Yes.
pinches,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And it makes you think like, wow, I really drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, like, for people that are maybe considering this for their health, for their well-being or whatever, just know that we have been subjected to a lot of brainwashing.
Yes.
You know, and
you know-
I didn't think I had, but I'm realizing, yeah, I had,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to tell you that the episode we did, first of all, the last 2 episodes have been going crazy. Like, people, I don't know, maybe we're getting better at this. I don't know. We're certainly learning a lot. But the last 2 episodes, so the one about the question and answer one.
I love that.
Oh my gosh, people loved that.
Right.
Loved the meatiness. Someone had said,
Yes.
oh my gosh, I love when you... So we're going to keep that in the rotation.
Yes.
Every few episodes, we're going to do a Q&A.
I'm getting friends with this
oh
guy.
gosh, sorry, I put that
That's
plant there
fine.
because I hate the
It's like
fact
I have
that
a pet.
there's an outlet right behind it.
That's all right.
And when we built this studio, we never thought we'd be making a podcast. So it's like there's weird things. But one thing I thought was really funny, because one of the amazing clips that Priscilla does, where
Right.
she clips us.
Yes.
Did you know this? Also, sorry, I've had 3 cups of coffee this morning and I feel like
You're
my
like,
brain is all over the place. But Priscilla does the clips. And I think I had sent you this clip about clipping podcasts, that the future of podcasts, because of
Yes,
it's
people
not, people
watch
aren't even
clips.
listening to the whole fucking
I'm
thing anymore.
a little
They're
bit
just
guilty. I love those little clips.
Love those clips. Anyway, we have the amazing Priscilla who does
Yes.
our clips. And
With our twin assistants.
with her twin assistants who talk about the women who don't know how to drink.
Maybe they should use a
still one of the funniest.
straw.
But she was laughing about she did the clip where you had said, wait, what? Other people listen to this that aren't like
Right.
your mother-in-law and my husband. And there are a lot of people who have written in. And by the way, please, if you are listening and you love us, could you give us a little review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen, because those are really helpful to make other people go, ooh. But the questions, people loved the questions and the comments.
Right.
And there is plenty of, as we all know, hate on the internet.
Yeah, I
okay?
don't read those.
And the people who share their hate, they don't deserve the time of day. However, there were 2 things that I saw that were not, I wouldn't say hate. They were
Critical.
They were critical.
Constructive.
One of them was constructive. One of them was, oh, you've just completely misunderstood us.
Got it.
So now that they're in my head, I'm going to
Please
address
go
them.
for it.
First one was, one woman wrote, and we are getting better at this. One woman wrote, I love this podcast. I want to continue to love it, but I really want you to stop talking over each other.
Oh my God, we do talk on top of each other.
See,
So
I'm
guilty.
just about to do it again. But we do this when we hang out, right?
Right.
And when we're at a bar or we're at a restaurant, you and we have so many thoughts to share with each other that but we are working on it because it doesn't work on a podcast to talk over each other.
Because I was listening to it and I felt the same thing as this person because it makes your head spin. To listen to two parrots talk on top of each other. So I've been trying to be mindful, but the problem is that I will say we need to stop talking on top of each other. But it's hard because then you say something that I think is really relevant and I want to add to it. So I don't want to forget it. So then I'm listening, but not listening, and I don't like that feeling.
Yes, I know. So let's look, but we are getting better at it. We're getting better
Yes.
at it.
You know what Brooks says in my family? He says the women in your family, they listen with their mouth. And once I told that to a man, he said, wow, lucky bastard. Uh,
Okay,
so both you and I listen with our mouths. Hey, Andrew.
Okay, so that was the one thing that I thought.
But she's right.
She is right, and we are going to continue to be mindful of talking over each other. But I thought that was wonderful, and I love those things when people give you something constructive. But then there was one that wasn't necessarily constructive; it was completely misinformed.
Okay.
And there was a healthy amount of hate in the little paragraph that he or she wrote, which was. Yeah, this is all we need. Trying to teach people about addiction from two privileged white bitches in Vermont.
Oh!
Okay, but so
I'll own it.
hold up. No,
But we're not teaching shit.
This is the thing. I'm
We're
like,
not
we
teaching,
might be.
I'll own the white
We might
bitch
be
in
white
Vermont.
bitches in Vermont.
Definitely
I think we are
privileged.
very fortunate and
Yes.
privileged to live where we are, to have our health, our husbands.
We earned it, though. We don't. Nobody.
Correct.
Not. Neither one of us is her. Us is not what we had was ended to us.
Yes.
I would
No.
just say that.
I didn't win the fucking Powerball.
no,
Okay.
no.
Anyway, although I have a lot of plans for that when I do.
Same.
It's so that part of it we own, but this is what I wanted to talk about because it was misinformed. We are not teaching.
No.
We are not asking anybody to be sober. We are not psychiatrists.
God,
we
no.
are not sober coaches. We are not any of those things. We are two privileged white bitches who live in Vermont,
yes,
who happen to quit drinking at the same time, who built a bond and a friendship that is so deep, so connected, who make each other pee our pants laughing, happen to make lots of other people laugh, and we are here to entertain you. Let me entertain you. That's what we're here for.
That's it. We're
End
not teaching.
of sentence. So I can't remember who that person was, but I just wanted to address that.
Right.
Boom. Not helping. We're not trying to help you get sober. We're not trying to tell you to get sober. That's not what we're doing here.
I think what we're doing is for me, it's free therapy. Number one.
Yes.
Number two, the only thing you might learn is some good NA options.
Correct.
That you didn't know about. Number three is if you're sober curious.
I think you missed number two.
No, that was number two.
What was number one?
Number one was it's free therapy.
Oh, yes.
So I'm still with it. So number three is if you're sober curious or you're starting to quit drinking and you're like, shit, I wish I could talk to somebody, but it's not my thing. We're just talking to somebody.
Yes.
Is all it is.
Yes.
So relax, Mr. non-privileged white woman.
I totally
in Vermont.
think it's a man. But
yeah, it's got to be. But he needs to take a chill pill. We're not teaching shit.
I agree. I agree.
Relax.
Anyway, let's talk about this whole switching to summer situation.
Oh, yes.
And it is, right, here's what happens in the summer. I get all excited again because we've come out of 7 months of winter. And I'm getting all my patio furniture out and my cushions. And of course I did all of that yesterday.
Right.
And today it's a monsoon outside. So, Memorial Day in Vermont, you just cannot.
You never know.
But along with that comes, and this is something I know all of our parent listeners will appreciate. We call this month May Mayhem. We're
I
going
didn't
in,
know
we're
that.
going into June because it's graduations,
Right.
it's end of school concerts,
Oh.
it's
Weddings.
recitals, it's weddings. Oh, by the way, people loved the wedding episode
Oh,
too.
okay.
Yes, which is funny because our 2 weddings were hilarious. So that whole summer, and it's invite season, right? We also live in an area where a lot of people come to
Yep.
for the summer.
Yep.
And so I'm seeing people at this time of year that I haven't seen for the winter season. And with that comes automatically still all of those parties, all of those celebrations come with an expectation of drinking.
So let me ask you, your first, so this is going to be both our second summer not
Yes.
drinking, right?
Yep.
So your first summer, I know my first, but how did you, and especially in a place where it's Nordic, like I'm from Montreal originally. I just want to make a parenthesis. My dad had the funniest story about North summers. So years ago, like obviously he's passed now, but a long, long time ago, he was a big shot in a private firm, and he was hosting a client, and the client had his own plane or something, and they had to go way north of Quebec to visit a mine or something like that. And so the man was from England, and he asked the pilot, "Hey, Mr. Pilot, so when does summer arrive here? Like, how long does it last? You know?" And the pilot turned to the man and said, "Well, last year, sir, it happened on a Tuesday." But anyways, to finish my question, so how did you handle last year, like your first summer sober, especially in the Nordic climate, when we see summer coming? Right away, we're celebration, parties, drinks, pool, cocktails. So how did you, that's a lot of triggers all wrapped up in one season.
Yep.
How did you handle it?
So a couple of things for me, again, great NA options.
Had you already discovered them by then?
Some.
Okay. But you had discovered that avenue.
But knowing that I had it.
Got it.
Right? Knowing that the bucket sitting out on my patio that I fill with wine for people coming over for a barbecue would have lots of good stuff in it for me. So that was a big thing. The other thing for me is the activities that I've always loved to do, like being in my garden, playing tennis, playing golf, things that are outdoors that we don't get to do in the winter. I really leaned into those things.
Right.
Like I leaned into, and I have come leaps and bounds in tennis, not in golf, although that's on my radar.
Getting back on the golf.
So me too. This year, my son plans to be a professional golfer. He's going to take over Rory McIlroy. He's going to take over from you in a couple of years, be the next great Irish golfer. He has asked me to get better at golf.
Oh, good.
Because I go out and I play with him,
right.
and he effectively caddies and coaches me at the same time.
Yeah.
And the other day, you've met Gabriel, you know him. He's 13 years old, and I get to a ball, and I'm like, I don't know what club, I don't know how far this is away from the hole, and and he looks at me, and this is maybe the 8th hole now, and he just looked at me and went, oh, "This is exhausting." It's like, I wish you would get lessons. So anyway, they gifted me lessons for Mother's Day, which is fantastic.
Oh, that's
and this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. But so those things, I leaned into the thing that I love. And that can be, many things: walking, hiking, swimming, blah, blah, blah. All of the things that could, and for me were, negatively impacted by alcohol consumption on a sporadic basis. And I listened to, oh my gosh, Glazer, the famous comedian.
Oh, Nikki Glazer.
And she's sober. She is sober. And I was listening to a podcast with her the other day, and she nailed something that I feel so much so. We've talked about this a 1,000 times, you and I personally. We were never in AA. We were never in rehab. We never didn't turn up to work or any of those things. So didn't have a problem in that category, that how it's classed as a problem. But she talked about, I was underperforming
Right.
because of it. I wasn't performing at my optimal level.
Right.
And she said, I looked down the road and thought, imagine looking back and saying, I didn't reach my height, my peak, because alcohol was holding me back. And so I think that about a lot of other areas of my life. But for summer, leaning into tennis, leaning into things that I could underperform because of a hangover, that, I mean, I now try to play tennis in the summer every day if I can, whether it's with a ball machine or with Andrew or with my tennis friends, and getting out on the tennis court at 8 o'clock on a Sunday when it's not, you know, torrential rain outside. That really helped me fill the space that would have perhaps been being filled with rosé all day.
See, for me, like, not being a perfectionist, I'm okay being a B plus, right? So like what Nikki Glazer and a lot of other people that have said that won't call to me because I'm like, fuck it, I'll be a B plus. B plus is good.
It appeals to me.
So, but I'm vain as shit. And so I would think in the summer, like, I remember thinking, let's say we're lucky enough, white privileged bitches from Vermont.
Oh my God, let's rename the podcast.
I
know. You know what?
Yes.
Let's just call it's not Happy AF anymore, guys. It's white privileged bitches from Vermont.
I love it. Netflix special, baby. Anywho, we have a salted water pool and a lake house. And so I wear bathing suits a lot in the summer. And I remember thinking, if I were drinking booze right now, I'd feel that bloat in my bathing suit and feel like shit. Whereas when you're not drinking alcoholic, you don't feel, you know, that bloat. You might not look bloated, but you feel it, right?
And you also feel I used to feel like I just looked older with a hangover.
I don't know.
And there's a color to your skin that's not quite glowing, no matter how much glow recipe shit I put on my face. It's like the underlying dullness that alcohol, that hangovers bring to your look.
So that playing forward that like I'm going to feel bloated in my bathing suit, or I'm just going to feel like shit in 2 hours. That's what kept me like, fuck it, I don't want it, right? Because as I said, I was okay being a B plus, right? So, and you were talking like you're gonna have graduations coming up and all of that. So are you throwing a graduation party?
No, because I don't have a kid graduating. But my kids are in you know, I've lived in America for 25 years and I still don't get the numbers of school things correct.
No,
Gabriel is in 7th grade and Rebecca is in 10th grade. You know, they use the term sophomore,
I
junior.
have no idea what these things are.
Like
a freshman and this and that. I'm like, give me for us it was secondary 1, secondary 2, secondary 3, you know, and then you're in university.
Ireland the same. We have a completely different numerical system for school. So neither of them are graduating into it's not a special year of graduation for them. But there are, you know, it's the end of the year. So there's galas and there's we were actually at a school gala a couple of weeks ago and it was amazing. There were non-alcoholic options on the tables. There were non-alcoholic options at the bar. So I think that is becoming more and more. And we talk about our stores that we go to, Nature's Market, which is another one in our town that we love. I was in there speaking to them the other day. The selection of non-alcoholic options is just growing. I want to say it's growing by the month. Like every time I see new stuff when I go in there, and John and Joey at Nature's Market, we love you so much. Actually, I was in there buying stuff the other day and Joey was like, oh, you know, sometimes I just look at my inventory and think, ooh, I think Isabel's coming in this week.
I better stock up. Did he not say that?
I swear he said that to me.
Oh my God. So the thing is, and Brooks wanted me to talk, since we were talking about summer and drinking, it reminds me of one of my funny drinking stories, but I've really replaced my amount of booze with the amount of NA.
So similar quantity.
The same amount. And it's funny because there was a thing on Instagram, this woman who's been sober 3 years, I don't know who she is, but she was giving, now talk about someone who seemingly is not a professional, and it was giving her 7 rules of like what you should not do and should do, like to remain sober.
Should.
Right.
We never say should on here.
No, because we don't know. But she was like an authority, but not an authority on the subject. And her number 3 was to not drink mocktails or any wines, because even after 3 years for her, they become a trigger. And I'm like, for you, you know, this for other people. So, but Brooks wanted me, he's like, you got to tell them about the Banyuls story, since we're talking about summer and booze.
What word did you say? Banyuls?
Banyuls is a place. So
wow,
do you remember? Let me tell you. So we like storytelling here. So Banyuls is in the south of France.
Okay.
2 hours north of Barcelona, and they make a very famous dessert wine called Banyuls. It's very close to a port. So it's a fortified wine.
And we know I don't like port.
Right.
Because remember my law school story.
Banyuls. Okay. Banyuls is a tiny little village perched in the Pyrenees, I believe they are, right on the Mediterranean. And my in-laws, so do you remember the story where I said Brooks and I, when we first dated, like a few months into it, went to England, London, got wasted. And I was like, my friends never spoke to me again. And I was like, shit, I guess I do have, skeletons in the closet. Well, okay. So that hangover ties into that story.
Okay.
So I'm like, look, one of the top 4 hangovers in my life, and I can drink. So that was something.
Big time.
And we drive that morning to that tiny little airport in London, not Gatwick. Or Stansted, one of those two. And I kid you not, I haven't vomited like in 30 years. But that day, I thought I may. I was that hungover. Okay. So we fly into Banyuls, where my father-in-law and my stepmother-in-law, Patricia, who is English, lived at the time. And I've never met them. And I have the hangover of the fucking century. When we land, around 2 p.m., I realized, oh, no. Now I have the hangover. Before I was just still drunk.
Yes.
Right? So I'm like, oh, shit. And my stepmother, Patricia, makes me look calm. She's quiet, energetic. So
I have got to meet Patricia.
And she hadn't seen Brooks in a couple of years. So she's already jacked up, like excited. So we land, and I'm like, oh, man, I mean, there was it's a tiny little airport in Perpignan, and there might be 20 people, and then I see out, and there's like 100, right? Because I see that triple. So she grabs us, and everybody's like, hands in the air, like she don't care. And I'm like, oh, fucking A, like it's hitting. I'm sweaty. I'm like bloated. Yeah, and you speak and you're like, I think people can tell. You know when you feel like your head, it's like you had too much cold medicine.
Yes.
That cold medicine.
It's like your brain is a little bit swollen inside.
Oh. So and I'm like, fuck. And I've never met these people. So, and she's like, we are going to party. And I'm like, no, dear Lord. So they grab us. In the back they have this old Land Rover, like from the 80s with all the windows open and stuff. And they take us to this, they call it the cajute. Like it's a little fucking hut in the rocks on the side of the Mediterranean. Gorgeous. It's like something you would see in a food and wine magazine with the light strings and all that, string lights. But to get to it, okay, you have to go off-roading on the side of a mountain in the rocks, and you're like, right? And every time I'm like, that's the part I'm puking on everybody. I'm going to puke on everybody. I'm going to puke on like the whole time. It takes a half hour, and it's like this, right? Like he has to go in low gear. I mean, it's fucking treacherous sober. Fucking hungover is like amazing. And I'm like, this is going to end bad. So I keep it in. I re-swallowed my vomit a couple of times.
No.
I had to. I couldn't puke in front of everyone. You know when it goes like this, and you're like, fuck. And they didn't have water or anything. So we get there. And so number 2, they make this giant paella, like because you're in the Catalan country, right?
Okay,
so it's very Spanish influence.
Yeah.
Huge pots of paella, like they throw in everything. I'm highly, highly, highly allergic to shellfish. It's not because I'm picky. I have an EpiPen. I can't eat the stuff. I can't eat the rice around the stuff. I'm just highly allergic to it since I'm born, right? So I go to Brooks, and now my hangover is starting to dissipate because they handed me a glass of rosé.
Okay.
So I just went straight back to drunk.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm like, I need to eat something at some point. Like your stomach is completely empty because you've been so sick all day. So I see them making paella, and I go to Brooks. I'm like, do they have anything else on the menu? He's like, nope. I'm like, okay. So far it's going good. They're putting the rice, they're putting the chicken, they're putting the saucisson or whatever. And I tell him, listen, I'm really allergic to shellfish. Can you ask your stepmom to just save me a plate before they put the fucking shrimp in it? And Brooks is like, oh, I don't think they put shrimp in this part. And we're dating just 3 or 4 months. I didn't been now. I'm like, I would have marched over and be like, I need a plate. You know? But I'm like, okay. And at the very last minute, and at this point I'm starving. Now I'm just back on the rosé. I've already had a bottle of rosé on an empty stomach, hungover. Like you get the, now I can't even feel my bloat. I'm so past bloated. Like I can't feel it. I've numbed it. Right. And at the last moment, I see them arrive with 2 big buckets of fucking huge gambas right on top. So now can't eat anything. So on the worst hangover of my life, I spent another 12 hours drinking rosé on an empty stomach. I just had a couple of baguettes. So I woke up the next day, to tell you how I felt, like the following morning. So basically, I was drinking for 36 hours.
Oh, God.
On an empty stomach. And then we went to pick up grapes because it was vendange. I mean, it was like a whole blur. So the times when I travel is still a trigger for me in the summer where I'm like, oh man, am I missing out? I remind myself how I felt that
day.
Morning after like that whole 12 hours of like drunk hangover, bloat, no more bloat because you're so boozed out. I mean, just like, bleh. And I remind myself that there's no such a thing in my life, because I've tried, as one glass of rosé.
No.
That's like, anyone else in that situation feeling that hungover and sick would have drank water, had maybe 1 glass of rosé and a shit ton of saucisson sec and bread. No, I was like, let me have a shit ton of rosé, because if I'm going to have calories, that's way more important. Add the tiny little bit of saucisson, a tiny little bit of bread. So, that's my like, go-to story when I'm like, I need to not drink.
And it's funny that you talk about like the go-to, because at the beginning of this, we were talking about playing the movie forward. But I have, and I talk about this often too, is the sliding doors thing of what it was like before. And so you're talking about using that as a balancing out.
I guess you're sliding
the
door.
FOMO and you're going, okay, let's put replay this old movie in your mind. And then suddenly you're like, you know what? I don't miss anything. I have a couple of those. I mean, I have many of those, but there was one hangover that I had, and it was right before I started my 75 hard. So it would have been
quite
the
recently.
Summer.
Yeah.
It would have been the summer before I started 75 hard in September. And again, I say this all the time, and people are like, what made you just wake up one day and quit drinking? I'm like, I didn't wake up one day and quit drinking. I woke up one day and started a new health regime that was a challenge that led into me never drinking again. But that hangover was maybe the first that ever made me cry.
Like a epic one. Ugh.
Like it made me not crying from the sickness.
No,
crying from the sadness.
Right.
Like that was a big moment for me, where I was in my bed, probably on a Sunday morning, and probably had a big party at the house the night before. And I woke up that day, I was hungover, so hungover. It was a hot, beautiful day outside. And I remember crying. I just lay in my bed and I cried. I cried at disappointment in myself, at sadness for how I was feeling, sadness about what I was going to be missing out on today, disappointment in how I was going to have to manage myself this beautiful sunny day with this sickness. And I go back to that hangover any moment where I'm like, have the little twinge of FOMO. I'm like, remember that day you fucking cried?
Because
you were hungover.
We tend to just romanticize and remember the good bits.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when I was smoking cigarettes, right? There was nothing like the first puff. And all you had to try to do is recreate that first puff when you keep smoking and keep smoking. So it's like the drinking. We remember the good glasses of wine, the one that you're sitting in a nice bistro and you just had the one.
That's what kicks the FOMO in.
Right. That's what kicks the FOMO in. But, you know, for people that are trying to quit drinking or have done so, remember those good nuggets of stories that bring you back to reality. And by the way, when you're talking about hot, nice summer days, is there something worse than a fucking hangover on a nice day?
No.
At least if it's raining, you're like, fuck it, you know, just like watch Netflix all day. But when you wake up and it's sunny and you're like, oh no, I could be biking. But instead I feel like shit.
It makes the hangover so much worse.
Worse.
When you look out at a beautiful sunny day and you think, wow, I cannot, again, talk about optimizing.
Right.
You know, you look out and you go, I cannot optimize this
X, Y, Z. It kind of put a veil on the day, like a veil.
Yeah, definitely not veal.
No, not veal. No, that's a. All right, a veil on the day. I have a picture.
It's also not a sheep. It's
a moo, a little moo.
Oh my gosh, Priscilla's gonna have a field day.
Our kids are gonna be like, why are they mooing on the telephone or the microphone?
These ladies who don't know how to drink also don't know the difference between cows and sheep.
But yeah, so that's a good one in the summer when it's nice to remind yourself. You wake up with this hangover and your old day is now crummy, and it would have been such a nice blue sky day.
Yeah, 100%. So that is a thing.
And you were thinking, like, a little bit changing of subject, but you're making me think, before we started the episode, you said that one of your family member that you talk a lot here about reached out between this episode.
Oh, yeah.
And I kind of want to hear about this. And I know it's off subject, but you told me, and then we have to start. And I've been thinking the whole time.
Yeah. Well, you know, I have, it's an interesting thing, and you and I have talked about this off camera a lot, is protecting the privacy of other people in your life. But I have talked about a family member who I have been very, very close to my whole life, who I adore, who has legit battled alcoholism, drug addiction, to the extreme, right? Well, you know, I refer to the spectrum often of my aunt who has one glass of wine a year to a family member who has been in and out of rehab.
Right, in a severe way.
In a very, very severe way. And that is full on addiction. And I just heard from him, and it's a real cause for celebration for me, that he had marked 1,000 days sober.
Oh my God. Wait, 1,000 days? That's almost 3 years.
Yes. Isn't that unbelievable?
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a huge
because he had a
thing.
very severe
issue with
it.
Yeah, I mean, almost
that's
died.
Amazing.
Multiple times.
What was his journey?
He became a dad.
Wow. And did he cold quit, or what did he do?
Yeah,
did he go to
I mean,
rehab?
we haven't, you know, it's a very fractured relationship that, you know, I hope we will rebuild over the years. But parenting changed everything,
right?
You know, being fully responsible for another human being, and that isn't necessarily the solution for a lot of people,
of course not.
But he is somebody who he's got one of the biggest hearts. He's like I can see how this would be a trigger for him to say nothing is now more important than this new life that I have created.
Did he quit by himself, or did he go to rehab, or do you know?
I mean, he's been in and out of AA his whole life, so I'm sure it was a combination of things, and we haven't, you know, we're treading gently, because there's a lot of pain and a lot of healing that needs to be done around that relationship. And you know, I was on the receiving end of a lot of that hurt over the years. And but it's yet again proof that you can do it. You can get a hold of it. And I mean, not everybody can. Like, look at the number of deaths that have happened. I was talking about this in the car with the kids the other day, because I don't know who was on the radio, and it was Amy Winehouse was on the radio, and I talked about the loss of life and how she had died so young. And then we got into Dolores O'Riordan from the Cranberries, and we went down this conversation path of the number of extraordinary artists, musical artists. We're a musical family. We all are singers and performers, and the number of people that just made me sad to think of the genius.
Was the singer of the Cranberry also an addict?
Yes.
I didn't realize that because she passed away, right?
She passed away.
But not of that.
There was definitely.
It was a number of
around.
Things. It was something.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, she was found in her hotel room,
right?
And there was definitely issues. But then we talked about Michael Jackson. We talked,
right?
Robin Williams. All of these incredible humans whose lives we no longer get the privilege of access to, and it was because of substance abuse.
And that's the thing, though. And also, it makes me think of when I was playing. Playing is a strong word, but when I was trying jazz piano, so for maybe 10 years, I converted from classical to jazz. I was not very good at it, but I gave it a good go. And I remember one of my jazz teacher telling me that was very interesting. He barely drank, like maybe had a beer per week, if that. But heroin is prevalent in the jazz world for some reason, and very, very prevalent.
Okay. Is that true?
Yes.
I did not know this.
You did not know that?
I did not.
Miles Davis, Brian Mellow, Chet Baker lost all of his teeth because of heroin.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, heroin is like Ray Charles. I mean, it was very prevalent. And it's interesting. We had this conversation like, which came first? Oh my God, my favorite, I can't believe that Bill Evans. Best jazz fucking pianist in the universe, major heroin, it killed him. Yes. And my teacher was like, you can have a junkie perform the best set, but you can never have a drunk do it. And there was this other very, very famous, not it's too early, jazz pianist, an older man, passed away now. He was a drunk and he couldn't play when he was drunk. And he's like, you can't play when you're drunk. And he's right, because I tried. I couldn't play sober, but it was worse drunk. But the thing is, one of the conversation is, some of these jazzes, not all of them, but some of the young people that were jazz players, instrument players, would try heroin because their heroes were junkies, right?
Yeah.
And because it creates that aura of like coolness. And I never tried heroin or anything. I never really did drugs, but there's a part of my drinking and smoking that was influenced by people that I thought were cool, that were addicts.
Yes.
And reversively, when I quit drinking, I had to look up at these people that were sober, right? David Bowie was one of them.
Yes.
And like, for instance, Brad Mellow is a jazz pianist that's very famous, who's sober too. But, they influence, and you wonder why these artists, is it because they're artistic, therefore their brains leans themselves to addiction, or vice versa, right? I don't know what comes first.
So I think there's two things there. And it's, first of all, we're going to have an episode where people don't know this because we've set this lovely little corner set up. This is my husband's music studio. My husband is a music producer, and we are set up in a corner of his live room, and we're looking at a Steinway piano.
Oh, I'm not touched. I haven't touched it. No. I've burnt everything. Absolutely not. I've left all my notes. I haven't touched a piano in 5-6 years.
Oh my gosh. But so now here's the other thing. That doesn't say you can't.
Yeah,
the other thing is, do you know our video editor, Andrew, who's not my Andrew Walker?
Yeah.
Is also a jazz pianist.
Oh, I want to listen to his jazz playing.
So I want an afternoon where you both just sit at the piano and play around.
I can't. I erased everything, but I listen to his jazz playing. I've erased
you're
everything.
So stubborn.
I am. I'm a B+.
Oh.
But all of that to come back to, like, you were talking about artists, they also contribute to that marketing around alcohol and drugs.
Yes, but it is the same in the music industry.
Right.
It is the same in my performance industry, where you come off stage and you're given a drink. It's the same in Andrew's business, which is the recording arts, where you go into a studio to write music, and there's all of this, there's weed, there's booze,
right.
there's, because there's the perception that you're more creative, your juices are flowing, you're when you get a little drunk and
But
high.
it's quite the opposite. Look
so
at this
not
guy.
true.
I can't think of names right now. The guy who's Aerosmith, the lead singer, said that his best years as a talent were once he got sober. He was a major heroin addict, and I believe he drank a lot too.
Yeah.
And once he cleaned up, that's when he made the best ever music, right?
Yes.
So we're under that impression that it makes us more creative, but it doesn't.
It doesn't.
It fucks
absolutely
your
doesn't.
performance.
And again, you know, to talk about what we started with in this whole summer thing and FOMO is what we've been conditioned to think. Do you know, sex, drugs, and rock and roll?
Right.
That's like those things were put together.
Correct.
And so you think, oh, we need alcohol and drugs to be creative, to be in a recording studio, to make great art. It's just, it's not true.
Right.
And we now have all of that evidence. Anyway, we have reached the end of our little segment here.
Oh my God.
I know. We fly through things. But listen, let's not worry, because there's another episode coming your way.
Right.
I want to go back to, while we wrap up, this wine. Give it a little moment to your camera right here. Hold it up to the camera. This one.
This one.
No, this one.
This one.
This is you. Ching ching. Oceano. Can't beat this. Ladies who made this, thank you so much.
Very delicious.
And this was a great episode.
It was great.
I missed you.
I know. We haven't seen each other in a while.
I know.
This was good.
And I keep looking at your top, because it is so beautiful.
I knitted it.
I know you knitted it, which is
I'll make you one, because I still have yarn.
I want one just like that. Everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you for sending in your questions, your thoughts. Please share us. Please share the clips you see on social media. Send us questions, because we're going to do another Q&A, because we love those. Send us your... we don't want your hate. So if you have hate, here's what I suggest. Scroll on by. Scroll on by.
Or see a therapist.
Scroll on by. No. You scroll on by. But if you have constructive criticism, that we love.
Yes, because it's true that we tend to talk on top of each other, and it's like,
But look at us not doing it now.
We're making a huge effort.
We are. We are happy alcohol-free.
And we're also happy as fuck.
And we thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Have a good one.
Bye.
I wanna be